ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees who assembled for today's session. I'm very grateful to be amongst all of you today to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto. Today we are reading from the 14th chapter of the 8th canto. In this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami describes the job descriptions of the universal administrators during a Manvantara. One day of Brahma consists 1000 Divya Yugas. A Divya Yuga is combination of 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. All 4 put together is one Divya Yuga, also called Chatur Yuga. Sometimes they call it Mahayuga also. So like that 1000 Divyugas are present in one day of Brahma. And divide that one day of Brahma or 1000 Divyugas into 14 parts. Each part is called a Manvantara. And this Manvantara period, which consists about 71 Divyugas, is presided over by a personality called Manu. And Manu oversees the Varnashrama Dharma and other managerial affairs during that Manvantara. And that Manvantara is basically the reign of a Manu, the period during which this Manu rules. And during that period of Manvantara, 6 kinds of office bearers, 6 kinds of personalities take care of various managerial affairs of this universe. Who are they? The 12th canto of Bhagavatam says, Manvantaro Manurdeva Manuputra Sureshwara Rishayo Amshaavatarascha Harehe Shadvidhamuchyate. In a Manvantara, there is Manu, Manuputra, the sons of Manu who also assist him in the universal administration. Sureshwaraha means the king of all the Devatas, Indra. And the Devas themselves, right? Manu, Manu's sons, Devatas, and the king of Devatas, Indra. Then Rishis. There are 7 Rishis, Saptarshis, right? And finally, Amshavatar, a Manvantara avatar, an expansion of the Lord. These are the 6 kinds of people who take care of various administrative affairs of a universe, of this Bhumandala especially, of this universe overall. So these are posts, they keep changing. Today we have one Manu, later we'll have another Manu. After 71 Divyugas, there is a council of 7 rishis, Sapta rishis, that keeps changing 14 times in a day of Brahma. This council keeps changing. Similarly, Devatas keep changing, Indra keeps changing. So what is the role of Indra? We just read some time back. Indra rules the heaven. He is the head of all the Devatas. He has done so many pious activities to come to that position of being the ruler of heaven, Indra. Indra is also called Shatakratu, one who performed 100 sacrifices, right? Ashwamedha sacrifices to come to that position. And he also provides rains to people in this world. And the other devatas take care of different other administrative affairs like Agni, fire department, Varuna, water department, all water bodies under his control. Sun and moon are there. They supply light to people in this world. And we have Yamaraj, he punishes the sinful people. Mm. So, like that, the entire universe is very beautifully, nicely orchestrated by the Supreme Lord Himself. And all the six categories of personalities who take care of a Manvantara, they are appointed by the Lord. They are also considered expansions of Lord Hari. In one sense, avatars of Lord Hari. So, this is the universal administrative system, the universal cosmic government. Hmm. So, sometimes state government or national government may function in a certain way, and there could be some discrepancies because human beings are involved. But in the cosmic administration, there will not be any discrepancies. Of course, sometimes devatas also do some mistakes, but Brahma is there to oversee them. And Lord Vishnu is personally intervening time to time to do the needful to rectify any disastrous situation, right? But at that level, at that cosmic level, Devatas level, Manvantras level, Manus level, the uh, possibility of wrong things to happen is quite less compared to the wrong things happen on a human plane, right? If we think, oh, this politics, this management is like too much, just see, like sometimes people may be managing a small company, small institution, they have a lot of issues, lot of internal politics or whatever. But if they hear about like much higher issues, uh, and more talent and experience and resourcefulness required to manage in a bigger city or bigger state or bigger nation, they will be surprised. My God, I'm just managing a small institute that has some 100 members. How are they managing the entire state? How are they managing the entire country? Here they are managing the entire universe flawlessly, right? So that is the Lord's universal administrative system. Why the Lord has to do so? In the beginning of the creation, when Lord Mahavishnu breathes out, millions and millions of universes come out of his body, bodily pores. And when he breathes in, all these universes go back into him. And again he breathes out, again universes manifest. And once the universes are manifested, Lord expands himself as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and he enters each and every universe. And he creates Brahma. Brahma creates planets and other species. And Brahma also appoints different Prajapatis and Manus to run the affairs of the universe. Time to time, he is not only a creator, Brahma also plays a very important role in maintaining the law and order in this entire universe. Right? Whenever some major discrepancy is there, Brahma personally descends uh, and helps these devatas. So, like that, when we see that the scriptures describe that the Lord orchestrates this material creation and enables it to function in a certain way and appoints his representatives, his expansions, his avatars, and he himself personally comes and oversees it and maintains it. Why is he doing so? Very simple. The purpose of this material creation is to give the conditioned soul an opportunity to serve Krishna. One more opportunity to perform bhakti yoga and perfect one's life. Right? So, very important. The Lord has spiritual world. In the spiritual world, so many wonderful devotees are serving the Lord ecstatically. In the spiritual world, Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambhrama Sevyabadam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambhrama Sevyamanam. Hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune are serving the Lord. And with great commitment. Although the Lord is not so much interested in accepting the services of Lakshmi, Lakshmi is very excited to render services to him. And she also manifests all the opulences of the spiritual world. In fact, and the entire opulence of Vaikuntha is a manifestation of Lakshmi Devi's power, her grace. But the Lord is uh, receiving such high grade service, and so many great devatas are there. So many Vishnu Parshadas are there, Vaikuntha Vasis. They serve Krishna with so much of love and affection. They glorify him. Uh, Brahma describes in the third canto of Bhagavatam, वैमानिका सललनाश्चरितानि शश्वत् गायन्ति यत्र शमलक्षपणानि भर्तुः अन्तर्जलेनु विकसन् मधुमाधवीनां गन्धेन खण्डितधियोऽप्यनिलं क्षिपन्तः वैमानिका सललनाः. All these great Vaikuntavasis uh, travel in vimanas, right? Nice airplanes. Salalana along with their consorts. Charitani Shashwat Gayanti, and they ecstatically sing the glories of Lord Hari. And when the sweet fragrance of Madhu Madhavi flowers, which are blossoming in the lakes of Vaikuntha, enter the nostrils of this Vaikuntavasis, then they condemn that fragrance and they continue glorifying Krishna. This is the greatness of Krishna. Krishna's associates in spiritual world. Yat sankulam haripadanati matra drishtairvaiduryamarakata hemamayer vimanaihi yesham bruhatkati tatasmita shobhimukhya krishnatmanam naraja adadhurutsmayadhyaihi. Yat sankulam haripadanati matra drishtair means uh, these devotees, great devotees, their whole drishti, their whole focus is only on the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Although they have great opportunity to associate with the opposite gender and enjoy their company, Krishnatmanam, because they are absorbed in Krishna's thoughts, na raja adadhurutsmaya, this passionate desires for sense gratification will not even touch their minds, will not contaminate their minds. To that degree, with that much of affection, the Vaikuntavasis are serving the Supreme Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha. And if you go to Goloka, Lord Krishna also is being served ecstatically like this by all the gopis and gopas in the Goloka Vrindavan. And the spiritual world is filled with unlimited spiritual planets, Vaikuntha Lokas, and in each Vaikuntha Loka, the Lord manifests in a beautiful ecstatic form and is surrounded by wonderful devotees who serve him with dedication, with absolutely no material expectations. This much quality of service Krishna is getting in the spiritual world. But in the material world, many people say that God has no form, God has no name, God has no attributes. Some say God is dead, some say God doesn't exist, some say I am God, some say everybody is God, some say God is one, some say all gods are same. Different people have different conceptions about God in this material world. Lot of confusion, lot of bewilderment, no clarity. And some people even hate God. So many demoniac people like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, they all hated the God, hated the Supreme Lord. But still, the Lord time to time descends into this material world. He creates the material universes and he enters the material universes in so many forms, in different avatars. For what? Out of his compassion, Anukampa, out of his deep compassion upon all the fallen souls of this material world, the Lord, he appears in avatars. So many avatars. What are the avatars? Let's see. There are 6 categories of avatars of the Lord. First, Purusha avatars. The Lord appears as Purusha avatars. There are 3 Purusha avatars. In each category, there are multiple avatars. In the Purusha avatar category, there are 3. One is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, also called Mahavishnu. Second is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Third is Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. So this is one category of avatars who orchestrate the material creation. Another category, Gunavataras, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So these 3 personalities, they take charge of the 3 modes, Sattvagun, Rajogun and Tamogun. And they manage creation, maintenance and destruction within the universe, material universe. The third category of avatars, Leela avatars. Unlimited Leela avatars are there. Unlimited Leela avatars are there. These Leela avatars ecstatically performs so many leelas, and the purpose behind all these leelas is to attract the attention of the conditioned soul. Because the conditioned soul is absorbed in sense gratification, distracted by sense gratification in this world, totally absorbed in the pursuit of material happiness in this world. But when the Lord appears on this planet as Leela avatars and performs so many enchanting Leelas, sometimes Nara Leela, sometimes he takes the forms of animals and birds also. Thus, the Lord takes up so many forms and performs so many leelas to attract our attention, being attracted by the enchanting leelas of Krishna, Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, Parshurama, and Matsya, Kurma, Vamana, Mohini. So many avatars. We feel, oh, this is how the Lord is. Is there any possibility of associating with Him, connecting with Him, going close to Him? So, this is how the Lord attracts our attention through Leela avatars. Then the Lord also has Manvantara avatars. I already spoke what is Manvantara. In each Manvantara, the Lord appears in a particular form. That is called Manvantara avatar. And in each Divya Yuga, there are 4 yugas, and in each yuga, the Lord appears as a Yuga avatar. This time, Yuga avatar is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally, Yuga avatar comes to establish Yuga Dharma. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, apart from establishing Yuga Dharma, he did many more things. Right? Many Yuga avatars come, establish Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma is the processes people need to follow for spiritual realization. So these Yuga avatars establish Yuga Dharma and then disappear. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did much more than establishing Yuga Dharma of Harinam Sankirtan. Thus, uh, the Lord comes as Yuga avatars. And finally, sixth category is Shaktiavesh avatars. The Lord also empowers some special living entities with specific powers to do many wonderful things to contribute for the maintenance of this universe. Parashurama is a Shaktiavesh avatar. Dushtadamana Shakti. Then Pruthu is a Shaktiavesh avatar. He is empowered by Palana Shakti, the power to rule. 4 Kumaras are also Shaktiavesh avatars. They are empowered by Gnana Shakti, power of knowledge. And Narada Muni is a Shaktiavesh avatar. He is empowered with Bhakti Shakti, power of devotion. And Vyasadeva is also considered Shaktiavesh avatar. He is empowered with the ability to write spiritual literatures for the guidance of all common people. In this way, the Lord empowers different special personalities to act as Shaktiavesh avatars. Total 6 categories of avatars: Purushavatas, Gunavataras, Leelavataras, Manvantara Yuga avatars, Shaktiavesh avatars. Why the Lord appears in so many avatars? Just to reclaim the conditioned souls in this material world. First, as long as they are living in this material world, they want to claim, they need to uh, act according to certain policies and protocols or rules and regulations, or I would say more than these words, we should use values, virtues, morals, principles. So the Lord wants to teach dharma to people. For example, Lord Ramachandra descended. मर्त्यावतारस्त्विह मर्त्यशिक्षणं रक्षोऽवधायैव न केवलं विभो. Martyavataras, the Lord appeared in the form of a human being. Iha Martya Shikshanam. To give shikshan, to give training to common living entities. Right? Human beings especially. His purpose is not just to kill demons like Ravana and others. Of course, he did that also. But more than that, he wants to train people in right consciousness. So, Lord Ramachandra appears, and Krishna also personally comes and gives his teachings in the form of Bhagavad Gita, Uddhava Gita. And sometimes he enables his devotees also to give spiritual teachings. How much the Lord is doing to reclaim all of us? I sometimes give this example. For example, there is a company CEO who has a multi-branch company, 100 branches in different cities and different countries across the globe. And 99 branches are doing very well, excellently. They are producing so many results and profits. The company's name also is becoming very famous. Companies getting reputation and profits in these 99 branches, but there is one branch where the employees are not very cooperative. Hardly any profits come. And when the boss of this company goes there, these employees want to attack that boss. They want to kill that boss. They are complaining oftentimes. What is the inspiration of that boss or CEO or the proprietor of the company to maintain that branch? Let's close down this branch, no problem. I have 19 other branches where employees are very cooperative, they're very devoted, they're very committed to the company's policies and success. They're producing results, they're increasing the fame and credibility of our company. They are producing so many profits. So let me be satisfied with this 99. That one, leave it. Let's close down this branch. Many people think like that. But Krishna is not like this. Although he has unlimited spiritual planets, Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world, where devotees are cooperative and happily serving him, hmm, he still comes to the material world, where people hate him, where people don't worship him, where people are completely spaced out and distracted from devotional service. Still, he comes just so that they will get some inspiration to come back to bhakti. The Lord comes to reclaim all the living entities. Uh, in the first canto of Bhagavatam, right in the first chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Sukadev, Saunaka Rishi, asked Sutta Goswami 6 questions. One of those questions is, why does the Lord descend in this planet in some avatars? Then Sutta Goswami said, the Lord descends on this planet to reclaim the conditioned souls, especially those who are in mode of goodness, who are ready for reclaiming. He wants to reclaim everybody, but those who are in goodness, mode of goodness, they are more ready. So the Lord is coming. Anugrahaya bhaktana manushim deham ashritaha. So out of his anugraha, just to show his compassion on common people, the Lord appears on this planet. He performs so many bhajate tadrishi krida yashritva tatparo bhavait. He comes in this planet and he also performs so many pastimes and he creates some subject matter for our discussion and we discuss his leelas and we become purified, our consciousness becomes purified and we'll go back to Godhead. That's the whole purpose. Why this Manvantara? Why dividing one day of Brahma into 14 parts, orchestrating Manvantara like this, and in each Manvantara, so this set of people must rule? Doesn't he have any other work or what? He in the spiritual world is very busy, performing pastimes, receiving loving service from so many of his devotees. But still, he gives attention to the material world also. Why is it so? Out of his compassion, his anukampa. श्रीनारायण पुंडरीक नयन श्रीराम सीतापते गोविंदाच्युत नंद नंदन मुकुंद आनंद दामोदर विष्णु राघव वासुदेव हरे देवेंद्र चूड़ामणि संसारार्णव कर्णधारक हरे श्री कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः. श्री नारायण पुंडरीक नयन. He is Narayana, Pundarika, lotus-eyed Lord, Sri Rama, Sitapati. You don't need translations for this. Sri Rama, Sitapati, Govinda, Achyuta, Nandanandana, Mukunda, Ananda, Damodara, Vishnu, Raghava, Vasudeva, Nrihari, Nrihari is Narasimhadev. Vishnu, Raghava, Vasudeva, Nrihari, Devendra Chudamadi. Why the Lord is manifesting in all these forms? For one purpose. What is that? Samsararnava karnadharaka Hare Sri Krishna Tubhyam Nama. In the form of all these avatars, the Lord is acting as the captain of a ship that takes the conditioned souls across this material ocean. You are rotting in this material existence? Come, board this boat. I will take you to the spiritual world. So that's the whole purpose, to take us from this material world to the spiritual world. Prahlad Maharaj prays to Narasimhadev, "Oh Lord, you are there on the other side of Vatirani. I'm there on this side of Vatirani. Please show some mercy." And Prahlad Maharaj also is very compassionate upon common people. He says, Naiva dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyah tvadvirya gayana mahamritamagna chittah sochetato vimukha chetasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. So the conditioned soul is carrying a big burden, a big heavy baggage of maya sukha, illusory happiness in this material world. Vimudhan, very foolish person. Foolishly, he is carrying so much of burden of material enjoyment, thinking that it gives enjoyment, but it only gives him suffering. Uh, and Prahlad Maharaj is very compassionate upon them. I want them to understand that the happiness or pleasure they are pursuing is useless, insubstantial, illusory, false. It's not a source of enjoyment, it's a source of entanglement. Foolishly, this conditioned soul is thinking that this is enjoyment, but it is entanglement. He is unable to understand the difference between these two words, enjoyment and entanglement. So, I am very compassionate upon these people. Oh Lord, please deliver them. And Vasudeva Datta, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, he went one step ahead and said, I will suffer on the behalf of all these conditioned souls. Oh Lord, you please deliver them. I will suffer. I will go to hell. Whatever suffering they are supposed to experience because of their materialistic activities, I will take it on my head. Take them to spiritual world. So whether it is the Lord's descent into this material world or devotees' activities in this material world, they both are committed to one common purpose. Of course, the Lord descends for multiple purposes. One of the prominent purposes is to reclaim the conditioned souls. And even acharyas also, same. They also um, descend on this material world, and they spread the process of bhakti yoga, and uh, they try to assist the Lord in reclaiming the conditioned souls. Kunti Mata says in the first canto of Bhagavatam, in her prayers, she says, Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyah. The Lord is approachable by and realized by Paramahamsas, Munis, Amalatmas, pure hearted sages, pure hearted devotees. They realize the Lord, they understand the Lord. And how do they understand? Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham means they follow the process of Bhakti Yoga. And the Lord comes to spread that Bhakti Yoga by which he is understood and he is approachable. That also Kunti Mata says. She says, Oh Lord, you descend for so many reasons to please Devaki, Vasudeva, to please Yadus, you to please good kings, etc., etc. But the ultimate reason is Bhavesmin Krishya Bananam Avidya Kama Karmabhi Shravana Smaranarhani Karishyan iti kechana. Oh Lord, Bhavesmin Klishyamanana. We understand that people in this world are undergoing so many kleshas, difficulties, suffering. Why? Avidya, ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of their original spiritual identities as servants of Krishna. We are all servants of Krishna. Eternally we are servants of Krishna, but we forgot that. Because of that forgetfulness, because of the ignorance of our original spiritual identities, you know what happens? Avidya kama. This ignorance leads to kama, desires. What kind of desires? Not desires to serve Krishna. If we remember that we are servants of Krishna, we desire to serve Krishna. If we forget that we are servants of Krishna, we desire to serve our senses. That is kama. And that kama leads to karma. When you have a material desire, you will perform material activity to fulfill that material desire. That is karma. So avidya, kama, karma. Three things. And these three things cause klesha. Klesha means suffering. Ignorance, avidya, leads to kama, material desires. Material desires lead to karma, material actions. Material actions lead to klesha, material reactions in the form of suffering. To stop this cycle, to stop this procedure, you come to the split material world. To do what? Shravanasmaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. To introduce the process of bhakti. What is process of bhakti? What what are the constituents of bhakti? Shravana, hearing about the Lord. Smarana, remembering the Lord. Arhani means to worship the Lord. So, to establish the process of bhakti yoga, O Lord, time to time you descend from the spiritual world to the material world. That is your mercy, your compassion, right? So, the Lord comes here with a boat to help us cross over this material ocean. Boat. As the fourth canto of Bhagavatam says in the Prithu Maharaja's episode, Yat pada pankaj palasa vilasa bhaktya कर्माशयं ग्रथितमुद्ग्रथयन्ति सन्तः तद्वन्न रिक्तबतयो यतयोऽपि रुद्ध श्रोतो गणस्तमरणं भज वासुदेवम् यत्पादपङ्कजपलासविलासभक्त्या. The feet of the Lord are compared to the soft petals of lotuses. Pankaja Palasa Vilasa Bhaktya Karmashayam Grathitam Udgrathayanti Santa. That devotional service rendered to the lotus feet of the Lord can uproot our karmashayam, our deep-rooted desires for sense gratification. Udgrathayanti Santaha. But those who are devoid of that bhakti, tadvanna riktamatayo, yatayopi ruddha, even if they try, they cannot even control their senses. What to speak of uprooting their material desires and uprooting the samsara? So, Bhaja Vasudeva. Please take shelter of Lord Vasudeva. Please worship Lord Vasudeva. This is how Bhagavatam is repeatedly emphasizing on this path of Bhakti Yoga. Please take shelter of Bhakti Yoga. Come out of this material world. How long will the Lord overstretch himself? See, these technicalities of which manvantara, which yoga, which incarnation, all this we can understand. But more than understanding the details and technicalities of the Lord's avatars, let's try to understand the purpose of the Lord's avatars. Why the Lord has to divide the cosmic time into years and months and weeks and days and hours and manvantaras and yugas, seasons, ritus. Why the Lord has to do all this stuff? And why the Lord uh, has to arrange so many devatas, Indra, Manus, Manuputras, Saptarshis to take care of the administrative affairs of this universe. Why he has to do all this? In the spiritual world, now there is spontaneous, pure devotional service going on. In spiritual world, you don't find these manvantaras, yugas, varanas, ashramas, uh, and the sun and moon coming and going, the Lord is appointing people. All this need not be there in the spiritual world. Of course, there is sun and moon there, but they are there to facilitate Krishna's pastimes with this spontaneous affection, completely understanding the Lord's desires. Everybody in the spiritual world, whether they're in human form or animal forms or birds forms or tree forms or any other form, they're perfectly conscious. They completely understand Krishna's desires, and the purpose of their existence is just to assist Krishna in his pastimes, just to facilitate Krishna's pastimes. When such ecstatic leelas, eternal leelas are happening in the spiritual world, why should the Lord come here and orchestrate all this stuff in this world for us? Because the material minds of conditioned souls are so complicated. The whole material world and the cosmos and its universal geography is so complicated. The systems are very complicated. But bhakti is simple for those who are simple. Bhakti is easy for those who are easy. What is bhakti? To love Krishna, to be Krishna conscious. What is Krishna consciousness? To be conscious of Krishna. To be conscious of Krishna means you understand Krishna's nama, rupa, guna, lila. Krishna's names are so powerful. Names are so sweet. मधुर मधुरमेतन् मङ्गलं मङ्गलानां सकलनिगमवल्ली सत्फलं चित्स्वरूपम् सकृदपि परिगीतं श्रद्धया हेलयाव भृगुवरनरमात्रं तारयेत् कृष्णनाम मधुर मधुरमेतन्. Holy name of Krishna is so sweet for those who are purified in their consciousness. Ah, by dint of their purity, they can experience the sweetness of Krishna's name. When the consciousness is not pure, the sweetest name of Krishna appears very, very bitter. The lightest bag that we can have ever is bead bag, right? So when people are traveling, they may take so many big bags uh, filled with so much of paraphernalia. But of all the bags that people carry during their travels, the lightest bag is the bead bag. But that bead bag appears very heavy for those who don't have taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord. Other heavy bags don't appear heavy, but bead bag appears heavy. Other sweets, like barfi, sandesh, or whatever, if you excessively eat those sweets, that will cause indigestion. But this holy name of Krishna is the real sweet, the sweetest sweet, and that appears very bitter because consciousness is not pure. When consciousness is not pure, sweetest holy name appears bitter, lightest beadbag appears heavy, and the simplest and easiest process of bhakti appears very tough, very difficult process. Then what will you do? You will do karma yoga? You can't do. You will do ashtanga yoga, going into the forest, sitting on some asana which is not too high, not too low, and closing your eyes, not completely, half closed, and focus on the tip of the nose, and then meditate for 1000 years. Can we do that? In Kali Yuga, Ashtanga Yoga we cannot do, Jnana Yoga we cannot do. Lot of philosophical speculation, complicated philosophy. Uh, Bhakti Yoga is the only way. Of course, there are other ways, but they are not complicated. They are very complicated. They are not that easy compared to Bhakti Yoga. On top of it, the results that other yogas provide are not as great as the results that Bhakti Yoga can provide. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva dhaneshu yat punya phala pratishtam atyeti tatsarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva. What you can acquire by studying Vedas, performing yajnas, doing tapasya, etc., giving charity, etc. All those results you can attain by worshipping Krishna, by performing bhakti, and you will get much more than what those things can offer you. So repeatedly, it is emphasized in the scriptures, whether it is Gita or Bhagavatam or any other bona fide Vaishnava literature, Bhakti Yoga's simplicity, Bhakti Yoga's accessibility, Bhakti Yoga's greatness is established. In fact, Vyasdeva was chastised and scolded and given a very heavy feedback by Narada Muni because Vyasdeva had not sufficiently emphasized Bhakti Yoga in the books he has written before Srimad Bhagavatam. Glorious work, but Bhakti descriptions are not very repetitive there. They're missing. So he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, then he's completely satisfied because it is Bhakti that takes the conditioned soul from this material world to the spiritual world. It is Bhakti that keeps the devotee aloof from material distractions even while living in this material world. They will remain uncontaminated by the tribulations and temptations and allurements and contaminations and faults, doshas of Kali Yuga, even though they stay in the material world in this Kali Yuga. That's the power of Bhakti Yoga. नारायण परः सर्वे न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्गापवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थदर्शिनः. Devotee becomes so indifferent to external situations and he focuses completely on his service to the Lord, whether the devotee is in Swargaloka or Narakaloka or Bhugaloka or whichever loka. Bhakti makes one courageous. Bhakti makes one confident. Bhakti makes one fearless. No fear, because Krishna is there in the hearts of devotees and constantly accompanying devotees. As I said, Krishna consciousness means to be conscious of Krishna. When a devotee is conscious of Krishna always, wherever he or she goes, and knowing Krishna's glories, naturally there is no fear, there is no insecurity. क्या होगा? We'll die. What big difference it makes? Soul is eternal. Even if we die, Krishna is there for me. He will give me another opportunity to continue my devotional service. Not that, not that one voluntarily gives up life, but there is no fear of death. There is boldness, there is courage, there is fearlessness, because truth, absolute truth, gives us that fearlessness. That is Krishna consciousness, right? When we are Krishna conscious, when we are conscious of Krishna, when we are conscious of Krishna's being the proprietor, controller, master of this world, then we are peaceful. Only Krishna consciousness can give us peace. No other consciousness can keep us peaceful. I'm not saying this. Krishna said in the Gita, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhurdam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shanti mrichati. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Sarvaloka maheshwaram, Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Suhurdam sarva bhutanam, Krishna is our supreme friend, supreme well-wisher. If such a powerful personality, if the master of all the worlds, all the universes is my friend, if the enjoyer of all opulences in this world is my friend, why should I be fearful? Gnattvamam, understanding Krishna in this way, Shanti Mrichati, we can be peaceful, calm, composed, fearless, secure. Right? That's the purpose of Krishna's descent, to give us that assurance that I am there for you. Whether it is through speaking Bhagavad Gita or without speaking, performing so many actions to protect his devotees, Krishna is repeatedly declaring, he is there for us. He is always there for us as the protector, as the master, as a well-wisher, as a friend, as a companion. But how do we understand Krishna's heart? By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, by studying Bhagavad Gita. Scriptures are the most effective means to understand Krishna's presence in this world and be Krishna conscious. And in the association of those devotees who followed the teachings of the scriptures and internalized those teachings and realized those teachings, those devotees, the association of such devotees, definitely helps us to be Krishna conscious. Shastra, Sadhu, and Guru, of course. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, they together make us Krishna conscious. Krishna says in the Uddhava Gita, Nrideha madhyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam. If we have a human body and if we also have access to a Vaishnava Guru, and if we also have access to the scriptures, you don't need anything to cross this material ocean. Human body is like strong boat. Material world is like an ocean, and human body is like a strong boat. And the captain of this boat is Guru, the spiritual master. And the Shastras are the favorable winds that help this boat sail nicely across the ocean and reach the shore easily. So we have access to Guru in the form of captain of the boat. If you have access to human body in the form of the boat itself, if you have access to Shastras, they act like favorable winds. We don't have any complaints. We need not have any complaints. We can easily cross over this material ocean. If we don't take advantage of these three wonderful facilities the Lord has provided us, But if you become spaced out despite having access to guru and human life and scriptures, Krishna describes us as Atmaha, the killer of the soul. Soul cannot be killed, of course, but the sense in which Krishna used this word Atmaha, killer of the soul, is that if the soul is not acting according to its original constitutional nature, it's as good as dead in one sense, inactive. The soul is not active according to its constitutional position, its spiritual identity. Soul is hyperactive on the material plane. Okay. Soul is pursuing material enjoyment, sensual enjoyment. What kind of activeness is that? Uh, our Dhruva Maharaj says, Yontah pravishya mamavacha vibam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shakti dharasvadhamnam अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So, our Dhruva Maharaj, he performed tapasya. He chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya for 6 months, and Lord Vishnu, Prishnigarbha, manifested in front of Dhruva and enlivened Dhruva's senses by touching his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead. And then Dhruva Maharaj said, O Lord, so far my senses have been sleeping, but you have entered my senses, you have entered my system and activated that system. Antaha pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam. My vacha, my power of speech, my ability of all other senses is sleeping. Prasuptam means sleeping deeply. You have awakened that. Basically, what Dhruva meant is, when our senses are acting on a material plane, they're said to be sleeping. But when the senses wake up and start doing some spiritual activities, then they are said to be in a wake up state. So, wake up state of the senses, our mind, or anything that we have is acting according to the teachings of scriptures, rendering service to Krishna. Otherwise, they're sleeping. Let's not sleep. You should sleep, right? As a matter of being in the material world, you need some rest. That's fine. But let the process of Krishna consciousness be followed. Let us utilize all our senses in Krishna's service. When that intent is there, even our sleeping also is Krishna consciousness. Even while sleeping, we can be ecstatically Krishna conscious in that sleep. How is that? Because a devotee sleeps only to rejuvenate the body uh, so that he is ready for the next service, the next day's service, whether it's chanting or any other physical service. So, our sleeping, our eating, our bodily maintenance activities, our self preservation activities become a part of our self realization activities, provided we live a Krishna conscious life. There is no difference between material activity and spiritual activity for a pure devotee, or even for practicing devotee to some degree, to a considerable degree, right? But for conditioned souls, primarily material activity is there. What does it do? It only plunges the conditioned living entity into the cycle of birth and death again and again. Repeatedly, the conditioned soul is taking birth again and again. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. So we need to come out of this cycle by taking shelter of Bhakti Yoga. That's the purpose of the Lord's descent into this material world in the form of so many avatars. That's the purpose of the creation of this material world also. So instead of getting into the technical details of understanding the nitty-gritties of how the creation manifested, uh, all that, of course, those who have bandwidth and interest can explore that, definitely. There is an advantage, spiritual advantage in that also. But apart from doing all that, along with doing all that, let's try to meditate on the purpose of this material creation, purpose of all the incarnations of the Lord. The purpose is to inspire us to take to the process of Bhakti Yoga. The purpose is to make us work for samsiddhir haritoshanam, not indriya toshanam, not indriya tripti. Most of the conditioned souls in this material world are endeavoring for indriya tripti, to satisfy their senses, material senses. Let's change that aspiration. So we need to change that aspiration to, let me give happiness to Krishna's senses. Let me utilize my senses in Krishna's seva. Hrishikena hrishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Bhakti is to please the master of senses by engaging our senses in his service. That is bhakti. Then Krishna will reveal himself. Ataha Sri Krishna namani na bhavet grahyamindriyaihi सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यद. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela, they are not accessible to this material senses. But if we utilize those very senses in Krishna's Seva, as prescribed in the scriptures, Krishna will reveal himself. Krishna will take us to his loving company. That is the privilege that all of us have by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.